Show the world you care. Show the world we care.
In a world striving for equity and justice, there's no longer room for the kind of toxic, power-abusing, misogynistic behavior exhibited by individuals like former Deputy Premier Christopher Saunders. The recent revelations from civil servants and the memo sent by Deputy Governor Franz Manderson to Premier Wayne Panton in March 2023 paint a chilling picture of a man fundamentally unfit for public office. This is not a baseless political attack. This is about the safety, dignity, and mental health of women who were subjected to sustained sexual harassment while simply trying to earn a living. What we see in the Saunders saga mirrors the Diddy-Style personality that has recently dominated global headlines: egotistical, controlling, sexually inappropriate, and vindictive. This type of man believes power gives him license to act with impunity. The accounts from female civil servants reveal not isolated incidents, but a calculated pattern of predation. These women describe inappropriate sexual comments, late-night texts and calls, unwanted physical contact, requests for intimate photos, and exploitation of power dynamics that left them feeling trapped and fearful. Fear of offending him, with refusal of his advances due to knowledge of his personality, ego, and vindictiveness. Reads one account. They felt the need to stay quiet out of fear of professional repercussions, fear of retaliation, fear of his rage. Victims told of meetings being called outside regular hours under false pretenses, only to be subjected to inappropriate advances. Others were reduced to tears after being cursed out and belittled for following protocol instead of bending to his demands. Several accounts describe Saunders trying to access personnel files to unmask potential whistleblowers, a chilling abuse of authority. The deputy governor's memorandum is particularly revealing. It describes victims who were mentally tormented and traumatized, yet afraid to reveal their identities due to fear of intimidation and victimization. These women suffered in silence, their mental health deteriorating under the weight of this toxic workplace environment. How many promising careers were derailed? How many capable civil servants left their positions rather than endure such treatment? The true cost of Saunders' behavior extends far beyond the immediate victims to the efficacy and morale of our entire civil service. And what was the Premier's response when these reports reached his desk? He acted. Wayne Panton, a man who championed a code of conduct for ministers and was pushing through landmark sexual harassment legislation, asked Saunders to resign. When Saunders refused, he was terminated by Governor Martin Roper at the request of Panton, a rare but decisive move.
I did an investigation. I satisfied myself that I could take the action that I felt convinced had to be taken, irrespective of any letter from the senior civil service. Anybody's, and I the Mr. Manderson letter, anybody else, I think you referred to that. And I spoke with the minister. I indicated to him that I needed to have his resignation. I did not want to get into it. I didn't want to get into any discussion with him about it because it was so incredibly sensitive. I presented him with a resignation letter. He could have signed it. He chose not to sign it. He left. He was escorted out. And I then went to plan B, which was to sign the letters to the governor requesting the revocation of the appointment as minister and deputy premier. I take no pleasure in any of that. It was a very, very difficult thing for me to do. But it was also very, very difficult having to listen and to see the impacts that he had on some people.
Hmm.
And as premier, I had to accept responsibility for having him in that position. So I had to make the decision to remove him. He then went out and did a WhatsApp saying he had left the government, or he had resigned, or he was resigning. None of that was true. He did not resign. There is a constitutional process through which you are removed, just in the same way that there is a constitutional process that you're appointed. So it's just reversing that process.
Right.
So I didn't want to get into any discussion about it at the time, and I don't particularly want to right now either. But I just think it's appropriate to clarify that that's the way it happened.
Yet, even in disgrace, Saunders attempted to manipulate the narrative, falsely claiming he resigned on his own terms. To date, he has never produced a resignation letter. He continues to gaslight the public, while the women he victimized remain traumatized and afraid. It is time for the women of the Cayman Islands and their allies to stand united. We must support these civil servants who endured abuse just to put food on the table and build careers in public service. Their courage in coming forward, despite legitimate fears of retaliation, deserves our respect and support. True change will only come when we collectively refuse to tolerate such behavior, when we believe victims, and when we hold powerful figures accountable regardless of their position. The upcoming April 30th general election provides an opportunity for voters to send a clear message. Predatory behavior has no place in our government. We must carefully examine the character of those seeking our votes and reject anyone with a history of disrespect toward women or abuse of power. This isn't politics. This is about basic decency and the kind of society we want to build. The memo from the deputy governor states, "As head of the civil service, I have a duty to care for all civil servants. They have the right to feel valued and respected in the workplace. This right extends to everyone in every workplace across our islands. If Christopher Saunders thinks he can bully, harass, and degrade women in the shadows and still walk into elected office unscathed, then we must show him just how wrong he is. Let's stand for accountability. Let's stand for safer workplaces. Let's stand for our daughters, sisters, and mothers. Let's vote for those who uplift and respect, not those who violate and destroy. This election, let's send a clear message. The era of Diddy-Style egos in politics is over. Stand up. Speak out. Vote wisely."
Raise your voice if it's not fair. Every time, everywhere. Be a hero, show the